Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the program. Happy Sunday to you, a delightful day to all, and thank you for joining me on this auspicious occasion where I happen to be doing the same thing that I've been doing for the past 3 years. We missed the anniversary of this show, which I believe was February the 11th. Totally blew past it, which is good because none of this ultimately should be celebrated, should merely be acknowledged that I've had this much time for this long with nothing else to do. And I've chosen to fill it with this. And now you all have a documented this video catalog of my deterioration mentally and emotionally. Leo said, salutations all. Leo said, you look like your mother in that thumbnail picture. My question is, how do you know what my mother looks like in her underwear? Think about that, Leo. Caitlin said, I vote we don't message until he shows up so he isn't like 30 minutes behind. And then there seems to be like a really long time before the next message. So people respected Caitlin and they're like, that's good. That's good advice. I hate when he's behind. He has to catch up. He has to scroll through everything. So let's not. And then they reached a breaking point. And they said, the hell does Caitlin know? Who does she think she is managing all the comments? We'll do what we want. And then they just continued on. So Caitlin, thank you for trying. It worked a little bit. And it's good. It's good. Now it's manageable. And I think I can get through it. It's my fault for talking so long on the program where I just talk. Julio said, just wake up, I'm dying. Well, I can't do anything about it. Call someone. Julio said, good morning, y'all. If I don't sleep again. Do you have insomnia? I'm just going out on a limb here. Daniel said, heard about the petting zoo with owls on steroids. It's for the people who like touching big hooters. Is this a platform for you to get your jokes out via me? Are you applying for some sort of job? Did you previously work for Bob Hope? Under no circumstances. Certainly, you should never touch hooters. But under no circumstances, no matter how big they are, do not touch an owl. Whether it's in the wild or in the zoo, don't touch it. They do not look like they like to be touched. I don't think many birds like to be touched. Do not touch a bird, okay? New ground rule. No touching of birds. Dogs, cats, fish, sometimes stingrays like to come up and have them brush by you. Great. Don't touch a bird. Feed the birds. Don't touch the birds. Mummer Life said, good morning, RJ. I wait for this now like I used to anticipate Saturday morning cartoons as a child, and I mean that in a good way. I know what you mean. When I used to stay at my grandmother's in New York on, I assume they were Saturdays. You're a kid. It's the summer. It's irrelevant what day it is. I used to watch Looney Tunes, the old ones. They used to play maybe it was on Nickelodeon. They played a block. And my grandmother used to make me chocolate milk. It was like an Ovaltine kind of this thing. And she was very worried that I would spill it. So I had it was like a ribbed, I remember the cup was like ribbed. And ribbed gives it the wrong connotation, but it was corrugated. And it had this big snap lid on it, plastic, like you could throw it and it would stay. And then I had a swirly straw in the middle, but that was also hard plastic. It wasn't a kid's one that would fly out. It was like, if you're an idiot child and you want a swirly straw, this is the one you have. She also had, I would sit on her bed and she had these pillows that were in the shape of chairs for sitting in bed. And they would have a back and they would have arms. There's just a little pillow. And I would sit there like a little comfy business child. And sitting there going, Meanwhile, I don't think any other chair I've ever sat on at that point, had armrests on it. It was unnecessary. You're a kid. What the hell do you need an armrest for? But I sat there like I was the CEO of Ovaltine while I watched those cartoons. Deb said, happy Sunday. Sabrina said, good morning, everyone. How are you, RJ? I'm now feeling nostalgic. Chris said, good morning, everyone. Daniel said, JR makes underwear in his coffee. By God, King, a real Java and skivvy slobberknocker. That reminds me. This morning, so sometimes I will set up this video, and then I will have to go to, what does this say? What is this? I will set up this video on the computer, and then to share the link on Instagram, I have to go look it up on my phone on YouTube. So I have to search it. I have to search myself and find a link. I typed in RJ Coffee. Some totally different guy came up, a guy named RJ, who plays in a band. He lives in Nashville, and he does a Saturday coffee stream where he gives guitar tips. I cannot catch a break. Another RJ making coffee, and he's got, of course, better numbers than me, too. So it was a nice punch in the face. Missy said, good morning. Hope everyone is well. Oh, see, now I've lost my place. But yeah, everyone should have slowed down. It would have been so much better. No, we're getting there. Spot Center said, I will be rudely interrupted by my mechanic telling me my car is fixed at some point during this lovely coffee session this morning. It's also pouring down rain here with river flood warnings. Well, first of all, get your galoshes on. Second of all, when your mechanic interrupts you, say, you know this guy? And then he'll have to look and assess it and then determine he doesn't know. And that's the best part. So Kari is finally here. I finally made it on time. Good morning, everyone. Good morning to you. Sean said, hey, yo. Culties, good morning, RJ. NPDMD said good morning. Spot Center said, I will be wet and with less money by the end of this. That's not the way it's usually supposed to go. It's supposed to be the opposite. More money and more wetness. Just like every week, said Spot Center. Fair enough. Nails watch the ads. She's here and bingo ready. I posted it for my members. Val Pancakes made a nice, lovely bingo card for everyone to play along. Chris said, howdy, RJ. Pedro's grandma said, holy heck, did you start early? Nope. Positively E said, morning, RJ. Mysterious Spaceman said, yo ho. And that's so mysterious because it's a spaceman. Why is he talking like a pirate? Those are the real questions. Clarence said, hi, RJ, how are you doing? We need to keep trying to have Cash Wheeler and Dax Harwood of FTR on the show. Luck is never on my side for years. Keep trying. Don't give up. Positively E, apropos of nothing, put a Hulk Hogan emoji, and I salute you. Daniel said, the order could only last so long, RJ. Chaos ensued. We started talking, and it snowballed from there. That's a shame. Lyle said, boy, howdy. That's a phrase nobody uses anymore. Made a Sunday stream for the first time in ages. And you know what? That means a boy howdy is in order. So Lyle CK, boy howdy to you. Spot Center said, in the latest Sarah Stock video, she developed a love for macrame while being hobbled on a broken foot. You should bring crocheting into wrestling. I like a good macrame. I would also like sponge painting. Maybe on the apron or on the post. I'll say, just give me this, and I'll just take a little during someone else's match. I thought this would be nice. Leo said, I bought your hoodie off of Teesprings. I hope I don't get kicked out of the chat today. Nothing sadder than getting kicked off by someone when you were wearing their hoodie. I'm sure there are a lot of things worse. Congratulations, and wear it well. Which one did you? There's a bunch of them now, and I now put up another one. City's Coffee and Cobb Cafe. So God bless you. Ty said, good morning, Mr. City, sir. How is your weekend going so far? What do you want me to say? Is anyone having a good weekend? Decent? Best case scenario. Daniel said, if I worked for Bob Hope, I didn't know about it, and his ghost owes me back pay. You're not getting that. Bob's ghost writers work for scale. Epiquest said, I've heard some birds like to be touched. Oh, that's weird. Neil said, I think you can get in trouble for getting too close to owls in New York. You should, because they will, if they flee, if they leave a town, it throws the whole ecosystem off. The circle of life, the food chain, that whole thing is so messed up. You'd be like, oh, look, there's an ant, to kill it. And then you kill it, and then you're like, oh, God, I hope that means like, and then a spider can't eat that ant, and a bird can't eat the spider, and now a bird is going to die because I killed this ant. It's a lot. It's very heavy. Positively E said, so I can pet the stingrays. I've been at various aquariums. One was in Coney Island. The other was in Myrtle Beach. And then in Toronto, which I think was exactly the same as the one in Myrtle Beach. It was that Ripley's, the franchise thing. They just like plopped another one there. And I believe they do the thing where you put your finger in the water and then they come up like weird rubber dogs. Leo said, in the UK, some people refer to women as birds. Remember Jerry Lawler saying it during the UK WWF pay-per-views. That's a strange, hey, bird. And then what do you call real birds? That's my issue. Think about that. You know, in England, instead of lunch, they call it tea. Yet, it's a lunchbox and not a tea box. You put your tea in your lunchbox. Daniel said, both aquariums I've been to have stingray pools where you can pet them. Pretty neat. This is their thing. Somebody figured out we can get away with this, and they probably won't kill everyone. They'll kill maybe 1 in 10,000, but it's worth it financially. SM said, like the video, you cowards. 53 to 25. Sabrina says, I've pet stingrays, and I've also fed them. What do the stingrays eat? I've never fed them. Were you just throwing bread at them? Who said, I saw a CEO of Saturdays, and then, oh, there it is. Val said CEO of Saturdays, and Val, thank you again for providing your wonderful bingo card. Spot Center said, my mama had that same legless bed pillow. Maybe it's a rite of passage for grandmothers. They're like, you know what? We want to be in bed, but we also want to get shit done. So I want to be comfortable, but not in a position where I will fall asleep. And there was also a table tray. Like if you were going to have breakfast in bread. If you were going to have breakfast in bed, you would have this little table tray. And I think it was just for the chocolate milk. If I was given a bagel or something, that was supervised in real time. It would not stop looking at you until you were done eating it to make sure there was not an accident. Nels like, shall we destroy the other RJ for you? Give us a subtle sign so you don't get in trouble. You know what? He seems pleasant enough. It's more of a reflection of my own insecurities. He seems to be in a band, and obviously they're not touring now, so he's giving guitar tips. Speaking of, I forgot the whole half of I got these fun things. They're a lavender. I don't know if you can see. They're lavender and maybe a darker purple, but it's still within the lavender family. It's light and dark, and they're nice, and I think they're fun. And we're having a hoot, boy howdy indeed. And you know what? While I'm down here, let me press my coffee. What the hell? Let's do it. We're only 15 minutes in. Let's have a nice squat. I'll get back to talking about the other RJ. Obviously, at some point in my life, I thought I was the only RJ who existed. And I forgot people can just name other people whatever they want to. It's a nice cup. Huh? The eye of the beholder should be a lesson to you all. Never trust a doctor, I believe is what the lesson is. And let's fire these. You son of a bitch. You owe me $6,000. You son of a bitch. See? And then it's all nice and even. There we are there. Delightful. Let's go back. Now, where were we? Val said CEO of Saturdays. My mama. Oh, yes, we talked about this. Positively, he said business child could be an Alec Baldwin. You know what? As much as I enjoyed my little rant there, and Sean said I love the idea of comfy business child as a wrestling gimmick, I hate Boss Baby. It could be so much better, and it's been wasted. Similar to Baby Geniuses, I think was a premise that was also squandered on the mainstream. Positively, he said, just play guitar. I once thought I'm going to teach myself how to play the harmonica, and that lasted 2 weeks. Chris said, but that other RJ doesn't have your charm. Who knows? Who knows? Val said he's probably not as kind and handsome as you are. Again, who's to say? Because beauty, you see. Mummer Life said, let's go cult. Group. We're kicking fake RJ's butt. Also, he seems older than me. He might have gotten here first. Leo said, RJ versus RJ is the real Sunday morning war. We cannot wait to see Brian Alvarez compare the number on Twitter. Well, I know that I'm definitely in the over 50 demo. I got that on lock. Mummer Life is kidding. I know. Neil said, no chicken defrosting behind you today. No, it defrosted and it was delightful. Ms. Fett said that Jim Cornette says, boy, howdy. Well, either I'm taking it back or we're never saying it again. Val said, I'm having a good weekend. Well, good for you, Val. I'm not going to force you to have a bad one. Spot Center said, so you're saying, but not saying, we should go to war with this so-called RJ and his honky-tonk coffee gimmick. Say no more. If I just had a cool regulators cheer to gather the cult members. See, this is the problem with not having a cult, is that they insist on doing things you don't even want them to do that they shouldn't be doing because they're not a cult in the first place. Daniel said, Ghost Rider. That's how far back I am? Okay Gamer said, well, hi, and well, hi to you. I've seen you've been playing Valhalla, the wonderful Viking game. Oh, I love being a Viking, putting on my horns and going out in the woods and say, look out, world, here comes Valheim. And Daniel said, I love the Ripley's Believe It or Not museums. Believe it or not, those scared the shit out of me. And there's one in Niagara Falls and I won't go. Freaks me out. I think it's the wax. Believe it or not, Dean Cain, not a very good actor. Leo said, I bought a vest top and a hoodie. A vest? The hell's a vest top? I was selling vest tops. Hoodie arrived within a few days and vest has not even been printed yet. You would think it would be the other way around. Teespring is weird. Yes, if you do order multiple things from the Teespring store, teespring.com/store/RJ City, depending on what you order, different things are made in different places, and thus they will be made and shipped at different times. But I assure you, at some point, they all eventually come within the next year or so. Red Dog said, good morning, RJ Underpants. Oh, God, I am so behind. Good morning, RJ Underpants. That's weird. Jerry said, give the video a like on its way in. It's the right thing to do, ethically speaking. SM said, the whole food chain rant reminded me of that book. There was an old lady who swallowed a fly. There was an old lady who ruined the local ecosystem. Epic Quest said, Mr. RJ, which way to the beach? Blue Meanie said, good morning, all, and good meanie to you. Good meanie to you, good sir. I enjoyed seeing all the cartoons of you from the Retromania video game. It's adorable. You do too many moves, though. A little unrealistic. Mummer said, I have the comfy chair pillow now, and I swam with stingrays in the Bahamas. Well, Mummer Life, your grandmother. Nicholas said, good morning, Mr. Meanie, sir. Major FOMO said, stingrays eat shellfish. I used to feed them at an aquarium I interned at. I would hold a fistful of diced up shrimp, and they would suck the shrimp right out of my hand. Did not consider that stingrays would have to eat. This whole time I've been alive. And now I want to say it disgusts me, but it's just too much for my brain. So my brain's like, don't even think about it. Oh, they're alien. Remember that study that came out? They're like, guys, by the way, we're pretty sure octopuses are aliens because we don't know what else to call them. Mysterious said, what comes before Ernest Borg 9? Ernest Borg 8. I'll tell you what comes before Ernest Borg 9. Ethel Merman. Daniel said, speaking of guitars, remember that fake flamenco dude, Esteban, that had 30-minute infomercials of him jamming out? No, I don't. I was at a bookstore once and there was a guy like that, though. Positively E said, coffee press before 10? I'm fucking shit up. Epic Quest said, if the queen wanted to knight you, would you accept? Would you ever become Sir RJ of City? Yes, only because people would say, which city? I would say, me. I'd say, I don't understand. And then I'd walk away. Leo Montfort said, 60 seconds of you being a lame stand-up comic doing a set about your wife being not very good at cooking. Also say boobs during the set. 60-second scene. All right. Put 60 seconds on the clock. Boy, I had dinner last night, and I'll finish digesting it next week. My toilet bowl looks like a Swanson frozen dinner. That's what's the matter with you people. You don't like bad cooking jokes? They're all the rage. What's the matter? What do you think? What are you, a bunch of boobs? It's a different use for that too. My wife loves to cook, but cooking does not love to her. My wife made breakfast this morning, and I have not yet broken my fast because I don't like eating what she's. Okay, just making sure we're all up on the premise. That's really end scene. Taking me back to my roots. Val said, instead of fighting for RJ supremacy, you could squat up. We could combine forces and make a mega RJ. He could sit on my shoulders or something. Daniel said, way to slap that Splendor like it owes you money. Well, yeah, that was the premise, Daniel. Leo said, had to censor the word boobs in order to buy that request. I was wondering. He became very conservative all of a sudden. Springer said, I don't remember what was given to feed them, but it wasn't bread. Well, it's likely shellfish. Ms. Fett said, having to drink hotel coffee this morning, the struggle is real. The only thing that's worse than hotel coffee is funeral coffee because of those styrofoam cups. At least if you have a paper cup or a glass one, if you're in a fancy place, you may be in business. Debhausen said, boobs should never be censored. SM said, see, the super chat censors you. So all the people trying to say horrible things in the super chat, you're not allowed. Lyle said, oh dear, sorry, I withdrew the boy howdy and let it be stricken from the record. Fantastic. Nail said, is Danhausen not in that game? No. Danhausen is in his own game called Video Gamehausen, and it is, you're going to love it. Ask him all about it on Twitter. Spot Center said, 60 seconds, you're a mechanic. A guy just came in for an air filter, but you found several other problems that need made-up parts to fix them. Let's go. Well, good news. Air filter, all good. Bad news is the Farnsworth is out. I mean, no, it's out. You can write it in another 2 weeks and something bad will happen, or you can just replace it now. We'll keep it here overnight. We'll lift it up and look under. Maybe it'll need a golfer, maybe not, but definitely a new Farnsworth for sure. And good. I'll make some phone calls, see who has what parts to put in, and if the Farnsworth doesn't fit, I can get a Cellulet. I'll just get one, and you have to put it in backwards. But we have a guy I'm not up on the technology, the newer cars. I'm a Ford man, 4 wheels and an engine. So Farnsworth is my business. But if we need a Cellulet, then we'll get the other guy. End scene. Really know how to upsell in this town. Starry Cat said, excited for my new RJ City top to arrive. Well, no, I'm not, because I'm not getting it. Keep your thoughts to yourself. Nell said, why are vests confusing you again? We also had this. A vest must be a British. You mean like a tank top? A vest is a tank top. Thank you, Leo. You confirmed it. Sorry, I forgot. Jesus. Chris said, Dean Cain being a not good actor is a common fact of life. But then also being like, that man, him and like Sorbo must have a conversation with the agents, and they're like, look, you can either keep struggling in the mainstream and it'll be hit or miss. Maybe you'll land, some sort of Rick Astley, Michael Bolton thing where you're now like ironically popular again. Or you can tweet a bunch of asshole shit and be accepted by a smaller group of people who are fiercely loyal. It was like they did the math and they were like, go ahead and tweet about weird stuff. You'll be fine. Starry Cat said, in the US, I think they say vests for tank tops and waistcoats. I think they say vests for vests. I thought for some reason I was selling one of these. You put your pocket watch in. Daniel said, I frequented the museums before Dean Cain tainted them. He must have ruined it for everyone. I like the other guy. Do you like riding bikes? The guy from Star Trek with the beard. But that wasn't Believe It or Not. That was like Shocking Mysteries. It was called What Do You Think About This or something. Neil said, can we destroy Dean Cain? I didn't join a cult just for it to be all sweetness and fun and no destroying. Can we, first of all, we got a Ruffalo there, number one. Number two, obviously, Tucci is slowly crawling up the bottom of the list. Number three, I was told, so first of all, as you all know, You Cannot Kill David Arquette did not win the Critics' Choice Award for Best Sports Documentary. We lost to Dick Cavett, as we should have, and that's fine. I would have felt even worse had we beat him. Yesterday, it was discovered that we also didn't win the Wrestling Observer Newsletter Best Documentary Award. That went to, I believe, A Dark Side of the Ring, which is great. Fine. 2 for 2. However, I was informed today by an article in Variety, which explicitly mentions the film in the article, that we are in potential contention for the Oscars. Does not mean that we are nominated. I want you to understand that. It means that the film is eligible. How far that goes, I'm not quite sure. But if there's anything I can do to help, I will be sure to do it and then resent that I did it. SM said, I'm enjoying the cursing today. Thank you. Mummer Life said, my 6-year-old daughter asked why that guy's not in a shirt. And I said, he's having fun. And then she's going to understand that that's, putting on suits like the working man is not my idea of fun. No, now I'm having fun. When this is over and I get cold and I have to put a hoodie on, I will be miserable. Nicholas said, great coffee mug. RJ, very choice. Daniel said, only if you obliterate Terry Hatcher too. I think she's not spectacular, but fine. Ty said, oh my God, too early for those inferences. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Neil said, I love how RJ pronounces boobs. I pronounce it in the Jonathan Harris sense. You bumbling bucket of bolts. You boob. It's not, this just took the sex right out of it. Positively E said, RJ could get the Order of Canada, but hopefully not before Kim Mitchell. It's a weird thing. You get it. Nobody cares. Blue Meanie said, oh, I absolutely do too many moves in Retromania. I wish there was a spot where I challenge my opponent to a dance-off only to get cut off for the heat. Wouldn't it be, and I'm just snowballing, if there was some sort of mini game where it was a dance with Meanie and it was sort of some sort of Dance Dance Revolution Simon Says kind of thing, where you have to repeat your dance moves. That would have been a nice break in the middle of all this wrestling. A suplex? What are we, Luthez? Epic Quest said, were you ever into Abbott and Costello? I was deep. One of my favorite movies ever, perhaps, is Abbott and Costello meets Frankenstein. But there was also a lot of other ones. One that I watched a lot when I was a kid was Abbott and Costello in Jack and the Beanstalk. And they're mainly comic accessories. And maybe it is public domain because the whole thing is like just straight up on YouTube in good quality. And towards the end, in a lot of these Abbott and Costello films, it would be like there would be a romantic male and female leads, and then they would pepper in Abbott and Costello. So it wouldn't always be straight comedy. It would be like they were helping this guy get this girl, or, whatever. It was always like an actual hero, which is exhausting, so usually the worst. So I got this one prince, I guess. I don't know what his deal was. And he was terrible. He's a big lug. And in the final scene, the giant, of course, falls from the beanstalk, makes a huge hole in the ground, and it's in the shape of his body. And the villagers are dancing and singing around this hole, which is his grave, basically. And there's one part in it where the prince is totally unaware of what to say, not paying attention to the lyrics, and is just a step off. And I watched it hundreds of times. It's so funny. And I only discovered it a couple of years ago. It's wonderful. Where are we going? Oh, I'm so lost now. Abbott and Costello. There we go. Panda's Grammar said, for a moment there, I thought it was a Seinfeld set. By the way, my wrestling Seinfeld has really, really grown on Twitter. People are catching it's the hot new thing. Daniel said, Abbott and Costello would have been horrible baseball commentators. Harry Carey would have lost his mind. And what about Uke? SM said, I know a couple who, when they were newlyweds, the wife wasn't a great cook. She made ground beef with peas daily. One day, the husband asked if she could switch it up. She made ground beef with corn. With corn. And then just... Sabrina said, did you give anything up for Lent? Yes. Lent. I'm not going to be participating in it for the next 40 days. Does RJ like Bobby Troop? I'm not sure if I've heard of a mysterious spaceman. Yo ho to you. Epic said, that's up there with the blinker fluid and racing air for the tires. Daniel said, what if you give up Lent for Lent? Well, you're ahead of me. I just stole Daniel's joke unknowingly. Well, fuck. Now that's off the record. I can't give up Lent for Lent. I got to put it back. Daniel said, I feel like this is actually how RJ speaks about cars. Pretty much. Daniel said, quite bluntly, Sorbo's a dick. But a Herculean penis. Leo said, are you going to join TikTok? Have a video go viral and then spend the rest of the year trying to recapture the magic and running into the ground? Kind of, Leo. As you may have known, if you've seen on my channel, my YouTube, there's this thing called the Shorts, which is basically... like trying to be YouTube's trying to do like TikTok. Because everyone's here already. They might as well watch shorter video, right? So I have a bunch of short clips already of random stuff. And they're vertical. They're vertical only videos. So they're better if you watch them on your phone. And then obviously you'll see they have the hashtag shorts. And they're usually just like 10, 20-second clips of random rants, usually. Things of that nature. So I'm just going to dump them. This week, I put up like 5 or 10. Next week, I'm sure I'll put up more. And we'll see how they do. I have them, might as well reach the kids with a shorter form. Nail said, gifting the sorry I forgot face, actually, which I don't even know what that looks like now. Blue Mini said, beard's growing in nicely, RJ, and it'll be gone tomorrow. Sean said, Fact or Fiction. Thank you. Jonathan Frakes, Fact or Fiction. That title does not denote how creepy that show is at all. Sean said the show is called Beyond Belief, Fact or Fiction, aired on Sci-Fi in the U.S. Aired on Spike here, I think. SM said, still thinking about that Turner kid from Maniac Mansion. Want to say maybe I watched it as a kid at least once, but I must have repressed it. The overgrown child reminds me of Chabello. Google him. I will. If you haven't, please go look at last week's Hollywood Squared Circle. Just because I'm in love. It was my favorite episode ever. The name of the show is Maniac Mansion. If you haven't seen it, Eugene Levy and Joe Flaherty wrote a kid's show, and it should not have been a kid's show. And it's amazing. And I think all the episodes are on YouTube because it's pretty clear that shit is not coming out on DVD or going streaming anytime soon. So please do. Daniel said, fun fact, Frakes is married to Jean Francis, the woman who plays Laura on General Hospital. I didn't know that. Nell said, how many of us had You Cannot Kill David Arquette on bingo? You mean the Oscar-eligible film? Sean said, Jonathan Frakes is my facial hair inspiration, but mine is the wrong color. Fact or fiction? Do you like beards? Chris said, Jonathan Frakes also voiced the Disney cartoon antagonist Xanatos from Gargoyles. Now I hear that completely in my head. JD said, don't you have to pay money to be in the Oscars? Yes, but I think the good news is that the film is eligible to pay money. Starry said, would you do anything special to mark 4K subscribers when you get there? No, I'd set a higher. Let's get me to 5 or 10 before I start throwing confetti. Yeah, small victories, but let's take a second to look back here. Oh, Chris got bingo, and congratulations to you. EpicQuest says, because David wore the sock during his tanning scenes. Yeah, that has Oscar written all over it. Leo said, I feel RJ McScoffey in his underwear should have been in the top 10 for best weekly television show at the Wrestling Observer Awards. I'm fine. Is this wrestling? Is anything wrestling? Mummer Life said, making boobs safe for the masses. Do we have a request? Yes, we do, and I totally missed it. From the Mad Camp of the wonderful French wrestling programmer Loot, as they say, Le Boom. It's a fun time. It is a hoot. His request is, you're Arn Anderson stylist and are trying to convince him the tracksuit without the shirt isn't the way to go. So, for those of you who are unaware of the context, Matt and I were just kicking back, having a ball, and watching the first episode of Nitro. And it is jam-packed. It is at the Mall of America. And Arn Anderson comes out during Ric Flair's match. And, Arn Anderson's really like a dad outfit kind of guy. Duckers at best. But for some reason, I guess the mall had a sale. He was wearing a Nike jumpsuit. So he's got these black windbreaker kind of pants. And he's got this Nike windbreaker. It's black, but I think it had a little orange and a little blue. And then, enough of a low zipper that you're like, he's wearing nothing. It's not even couldn't even be a low tank top. Nothing there. And these high sneakers, I think they were wrestling shoes. And then he took off the windbreaker at some point, because now you mean business. And his pants, you could not see his belly button. If he lifted it up like an inch higher, he could have worn it as a bra. So here's the scene. Arn Anderson stylist trying to convince him the tracksuit without the shirt isn't the way to go. What about a Four Horsemen t-shirt? That would be fun, right? Good branding. Huh? Or maybe a tank top. Okay, or what about we do a little bit of a backland? We put the towel, we tuck it underneath, and that'll give you keeps the throat warm in case you want to sing later. Minnesota is cold this time of year. Okay, well, can we zip it up? Maybe I'll put a clip the collar. All right, can I just trim the chest hair? Can I just give it a little, almost like a shrub, just a little pass? Trim it down. I think it would be nice. Okay. But for sure, yes, on the giant Jerry Lewis reading glasses. Those would be, because you're sophisticated in addition to being athletic. And scene. That was a hot one. More of that coming up on an episode of La Boom. Neil said, I think your shorts would go down well on TikTok. Is there a TikTok? Spot Center said, will you drink coffee Saturday afternoon in shorts? No, because it's too long. It's not shorts. It's the Panda's Grandma said I should have a cat TikTok. I won't. Leo said, do you actually get effed every single night like you said in that short? No. And even if I was able to, that's a lot of work. Matt said, hello all. Fun guy. And you can check out Matt on La Boom, on Regardez Along, all the wonderful French programming. It's one of the best French commentators since Ray Rougeau. Nail said the GIF was made and posted before you even got to the comment. Great. Nail said, it's Matt Cam from famous television program La Boom. People love the show. Epic Quest said, that was such a good video. You did the Hollywood Squared Circle. That brought me back. So good. Panthers Grandma said, keep the shorts up. Thank you. because I like a little, it's a moose knuckle, I believe it's called. Timothy Canup said, more great content. What's your thoughts on Welcome Back, Kotter? I think it's misspelled. It's Kotter with a K. I think it was a well-done show in the sense that Gabe Kaplan is probably not the strongest comedian in a sitcom on his own. Like Red Fox. Red carried that show. So he needed to be surrounded by a cast of lively people. And the Sweat Hogs were definitely it. I think it was the right mix. Gabe is almost like a Judd Hirsch in that sense where he's the baseline. You know, he's not getting too crazy. But you need him there. Deb Housen said, good morning, Matt Camp. Busted Open Nation says, hi, look at the cross. Rye said, good morning. Have you bought Greg Oliver's Billy Van book yet? No, I have a bunch of other books to get through first. And if the more I buy, the less I read, if that makes any sense. But it's on the list because, well, Billy Van is the man, as the book says. SM said, I'm one away from bingo, but it would require me setting it up, which I won't do. Hopefully it comes organically. Those are the rules. You got to play like that. Positively E said, Rip Taylor might like you threatening to throw confetti. That was a good act. Matt said, everyone should watch that episode of Monday Night Nitro. 46 glorious minutes of TV. Please take our advice for that. And maybe one day we could perhaps provide additional commentary to give everyone greater context into just the logistics of running a wrestling show in a mall, which I've been a part of before. Not that mall. Much, much smaller. Nail said, SM, want me to bring up B. Arthur or musicals? Positively E said, Arn still rocks that old man track with the chest hairs out. I support the look. Well, at this point, he's stuck. It would be weird if he started changing it up now. Daniel said, Arn had a very intense all denim phase. Jeans are fine, but the denim shirts, oof. If you, in like 96, if you had a denim shirt, you needed the gold chain to offset it. He had that Robin Williams-ish chest hair, too. Nail said, hey, what about that John Travolta, huh? What does he sound like again? I have no idea. Daniel said, Bob Backlund had to keep his collarbones toasty for effective chicken wing torque. I thought he had very sensitive tonsils and he wanted them taken out. So we have to keep them warm before he was yelling. Leo said, was Arn Anderson considered a sex symbol back in the day? Was any wrestler, even when they were explicitly promoted as being sex symbols, like, you're not able to tell because you're in, like, once you're a fan of wrestling, you can't tell. It's a hall of mirrors. It's all distorted, your sense of perception. All wrestlers are strange and ultimately unappealing. So when you go outside of it, you would have to ask like a guy walking down the street, if he's an accountant or something, not that familiar with wrestling, you'd have to show him a picture and go, is this a person a sex symbol? You can't ask from inside the business. Mysterious Spaceman said, I enjoyed My Funny Valentine. What's RJ's favorite sexist old standard? That one isn't even sexist. It's just like cruel. But my favorite would probably be Georgie Girl. They're almost equally as mean in that song to Georgie. And it's literally like, clean up and get yourself a man. Like, that was the point of the song and the point of the movie. People forget that Georgie Girl, a soundtrack to a movie. Caitlin said, it took me so long to realize the shorts hashtag was related to the length of the video and not the article of clothing. And you appropriately used the new member emoji. I don't get that. But now you do. It's, I believe, less than a minute is the thing. And then they put it on this. If you scroll, if you're on the mobile app and you scroll, you'll see a thing that says shorts. And then they'll play one after the other, kind of like TikToks. It's a fucking thing. They said RJ needs a permanent boom position. I'm going to do the after boom. I'm just going to do a recap or a watch along of La Boom. Mummer Life said, also, let me point out, they still haven't given me a Cobb salad. Cobb up, or hit the curb. I drive a hard bargain. Mummer said, who would star in a Perfect Strangers reboot? Bronson Pinchot and Mark Lynn Baker. I don't see a problem with that at all. I don't want to see anyone else in that role. Seriously, I don't. Same thing with Frasier. Like what he is Frasier. He's been Frasier in 2 different television shows now. It's gonna suck that they rebooted Frasier without the dad. That is heartless. They should be like, no. Watch them try to introduce another. It will be like Maris's great uncle comes to stay with them just to justify shoehorning in stuff that they would have written for Marty Crane. Leo said, would you rather have Cody's neck tattoo or Brock Lesnar's chest sword erect tattoo? I feel like the sword I could hide more. I feel like the neck, then if I don't want it that day, I'll have to wear turtlenecks. And then I got to become a turtleneck guy. It's a lot of work and very hot. Spicer said, favorite bread. I like a good sourdough. Good squishy in the middle, crunchy on the outside. Positively E said, Canadian tuxedos are available at the Gap. Daniel said, Rick Rude would fit the sex symbol mode. I'd say appearance and gimmick both. Positively E said, wrestling bubble has a heavy curve. Leo said, there's nothing sexy about young Ric Flair. It's a lot. It's a lot to take in. In wrestling, very sexy. Outside of wrestling, I don't know. My point is I don't have my goggles are on and they cannot come off at this point. Macy said, Shawn Michaels was the first wrestling sex symbol. Just ask Playgirl. Who else was like a swing? I found Nick Bockwinkel to be an incredibly handsome man. Nail said, are you saying someone could be a 10 in wrestling, but a 5 in the real world? I'm saying like a 3. I'm saying like they don't even chart. They just go, why are we making a list about weird? Wrestling is weird, is my point. Sabrina appropriately used the David Arquette emoji and then coffee. Spot Center said, I'm old enough to remember that movie, Urban Cowboy, coming out, and it was the only time I've owned a cowboy hat and boots. I once owned a cowboy hat as a child, and I don't know why. Sean said, the line from You're Not a Beauty, but Hey, You're All Right from Thunder Road comes to mind. Val said, Nails, I'm easily a 5 at a wrestling show and a 2 in real life, so I think it works for wrestlers too. There's a lower standard of attraction. It's really a biodome. SM said 60-second scene. You pitched a segment of Zoom that didn't make the cut. Oh, you mean Zoom the Kids show? Okay, because it was inappropriate for whatever reason. Okay. All right, here we go. All right. Okay. We interview Red Fox. Okay. And maybe we can make a little cardboard fox, fold the ears, that kind of thing. It's like Red Fox, but he's making a fox. And he'll talk about his album. You Gotta Wash Your Ass is the name of the album. Which is like a fun cleaning thing. And like ass maybe means donkey, and we could talk donkeys, foxes, farm animals. It could be a barnyard thing. It's clean, like he's focusing on, cleaning. I think. A senior citizen, that'll be fun. What about Demond Wilson? Maybe he could just come on the show and wash his ass or something. Something to think about. Come on and Zoom. Come on and Zoom. Come on and Zoom. And scene. I don't think Demond Wilson is a square in the bingo. Nail said, Val, we all know you're a 10 at wrestling shows with all the tweets I've seen this weekend. Oh, my goodness. Positively E said, I don't think Frasier is going to work now. I don't think it'll work, but it's not going to stop them. Sabrina said, that was a lovely Sunday morning stream. Have a great day, everyone. A great day to you, Sabrina. Hey, don't forget, talking about Frasier, remember how Mad About You, the reboot, when we're doing it, really? Yeah, it's on this thing. We're like, that was the final frontier. Daniel said, Rick Rude inadvertently made Kathy Lee Gifford horny in front of Regis. It was kind of weird. What's going on over here? Look at this guy's pants. What's happening to you? OK Gamer said it's not powered dough, it's powered dough. And she would know she is on a roll. And she doesn't really post that much about it. She does it in secret because it's her art. And she loves it. But it's really tremendous. It's tremendous bread you got to get in there. You got to roll up your sleeves. You have to do things that I would not. Let me put it like that. Caitlin said, do you have any tattoos? No, and I don't think I'll ever. I can't think of one thing I would want that would not make me feel immediately insecure and want it gone. SM said, how can they reboot Frasier without Eddie the dog? Eddie must be dead, right? Like the real Eddie. The dog is dead, right? And I'm not. This is a serious question. He's got to be dead. Maniacs. Stuntman Mike said, hey, RJ, long time watcher, first time commenter. I hope you have a great day. And thank you for the entertainment. Well, Stuntman Mike, thank you for all the stunts you do. When that time they lit you on fire and you fell off that Wild West hotel onto that mat, that was a good one. I loved it. Daniel said, Bachwinkle is like the high school principal that's good with parents but gets freaky on his downtime. Yeah, freaky with chain wrestling. Neil said, hey, Stuntman Mike, don't be shy. Want to join a cult? Don't listen to the Stuntman Mike. Just keep doing your stunts. Mysterious Spaceman said, is love, sweet love really the only thing that there's just too little of? I love how another lyric in there is, Lord, we don't need another mountain. So Hal David and Burt Bacharach are looking out the window and they're like, oh, these fucking mountains everywhere. Can't see shit. I don't know where I'm supposed to go. There's enough of them. You know how God just makes mountains continually. Neil said, if he includes honky tonk in this scene, I will laugh so much. I don't know what that is. Leo said, a lot of wrestling fans also have unpleasant breath. Don't get that close. No need to get as close as we used to get to people. SM said, I think we go up a few points on the attractiveness scale at wrestling shows if we have all of our teeth. Also, if you're not wearing a black shirt, if you have a white or a gray, you're in another stratosphere all of a sudden. Tyson, you going to clean your ass? Daniel said, I made lyrics to the Sanford and Son song. I'm proud of them. Red Fox. Mama said, another great show. Thanks, RJ. Do the moves. My new favorite shirt. That's so sweet of you. And please continue to do them. Neil said, I hope Wash Your Ass is on the bingo. Panthers Grandma said, did anyone check out the Man About You reboot? Was it any good? Leo said, I have low self-esteem and even I will look around and think I was the best looking fan at shows. Ha-ha. That was not even a laugh. It was a ha-ha. Ty said, you didn't need to say her art with such crazy eyes. I completely, her art. Well, it's a her, whatever. Look, it's nice bread. Val said, you said she's on a roll. Did you purposely make a bread pun? Or was it a happy accident? No, it was a happy accident. They are loaves. They are honking things. You can give it 2 days for it to get hard and stale. You can beat the shit out of somebody. They are big. SM said, thoughts on Pinky Brewster reboot. That is, of course, Pinky Tuscadero in her younger years. I never watched the original, but it makes me happy to see Freddie Prinze Jr. acting again. He seems like a nice fella. I would like to talk with him about nothing he's done, only about old stuff. And Neil said, don't talk about dead dogs. I didn't kill the dog. I want to make that clear. I did not kill Eddie from Frasier. Time did. Maybe. Maybe he's still alive. How the hell do I know? Leo said, the bear in mind the shows I would attend would have like 100 fans. It's not a horrible ratio. Mama said, tremendous is Mosh's gimmick. Fun fact, Mosh from the Headbangers went to Mama Live's high school. Fun stuff. Ace, his picture, have you seen this picture? Eddie the dog passed away in 2006. Rest in peace. His real name was Moose. Imagine how much it fucks with a dog. You're like 10. People have been calling you Moose. All of a sudden, you're getting paid lots of money, and so they're calling you by a different name. Imagine the imposter syndrome that Moose had, making all this money, being called Eddie. He must have been like, man, people must have hated me as Moose. I must have been terrible. Also, he died in 2006. Any show where the dog on it has been dead for more than a decade, you can't reboot it. Caitlin has a tattoo suggestion. B. Arthur's portrait as a tramp stamp. It wouldn't be a tramp stamp at all. It would be an insignia. Neil said, I popped for the mountains joke. Who drew the cat on the dry erase board? I did a little boop boop. Timothy Knupp said, what's your favorite underrated 80s slasher film? Mine is New Year's Evil. Mine, and I'm not sure if this is 80s. It must be. Either late 70s or early 80s. Blood Harvest with Tiny Tim. It's terrifying, but mainly just because Tiny Tim is in it. Spotsman said, I'm getting through the whole show without being interrupted, but it means more hourly labor charges. You're the yin to my yang. This will cost you so much money, but you will be so happy it did. Rye said, I think I need to hear RJ sing Dummy in the Window. Oh my. A classic. Spot Center said, yang to my yin. I'm yinin and yangin. There's the B. Arthur emoji from Nails. Well done. Daniel said, Old Yeller's been dead for 60 years. Imagine that reboot. But that was dog-centered. Like with Lassie, you knew like already they needed like 8 Lassies. Or that dolphin. How long's Flipper been dead for? Positively E said, don't think about the pink elephants. What? Nail said, what? Little poop, poop, boop, boop? What did he say? I didn't say any of that. Rye loves Blood Harvest. So not only did you get a recommendation to watch Blood Harvest from me, but Rye is like the Louis Yost of modern Canadian cinema. And if he's recommending it too. Chris said, when I went to my first indie show, I was dressed to the nines and wore some cologne and deodorant. At first, I thought when you first started going to wrestling shows, you're not booked, and you want to get booked. You're like, let's dress really nice so people know we take this seriously. And then I realized this is stupid. Let's dress as shitty as possible so people think we take this seriously, so seriously that we don't have time to dress up nicely. Spicer said, I remember Joaquin Wilde getting a tramp stamp early on in his career. Maybe make it your 12th tat. Not one of the first. That's fair enough. You don't start. Tramp stamp is a destination. Not a departure point. Leo said, which wrestlers are surprisingly nice or surprisingly intelligent? I have been flummoxed by how much Mark Henry knows about Broadway musicals. And he's also been incredibly nice. I don't personally know him at all. I think he heard me on Busted Open, and then we struck it. We hit it off after that. He is a delight, and I want to see much more from him in every single way. I think he's a hoot. Daniel said, I don't know. Dolphin math is complicated. Dolphins are either they live to be like 8 or 100. I don't know what the math is, but it's unusual. Timothy Knapp said, Tiny Tim the singer. Oh, shit. I have to see that you do. SM said, I don't get that either. What did I say? So you said poop when asked about the cat on the board. Oh, no. Oh, I was like, boop, boop. I was doing the sound of me, I guess, drawing the whiskers. Does that make sense? Epic said, is there any movies coming out you want to see or maybe a recommendation for a lazy Sunday? Yes. Wonderful film called Blood Harvest starring Tiny Tim. Positively E said, 8 Lassies. That kind of depressing. They went through so many Lassies. Ty said, I don't get that. I believe that's in reference to Louis Yost. Louis Yost was a Canadian like Gene Siskel, Roger Ebert kind of guy. Loved a cinephile. And he would be on, I think the show was Saturday at the Movies, that kind of thing. And he would give you the opening preamble of an old classic film and wrote a lot of books too. Where I said the Elway Yost of sleaze and smut. Elway was a dirty fella. Serious Spaceman said, Lord, we don't need another meadow. Actually, couldn't some places in the world use some meadows? Hal David and Burt Bacharach hated the environment. SM said, tramp stamp is a destination. Spot Center said, everybody stand up and spin with the leader at the end. Don't appoint me. Deb Housen said, I'm a mark from Mark Henry. I love him. Oh my God, they drew the whiskers. Boop, boop. Yeah, that's what it was. Val said, I'm a car spokesman. Missy said, I want RJ artwork for my wall. There's people who put out art. Mama Liar said, would have been better with Scrooge's Tiny Tin. Positively E said, how long do owls live for? I don't know, but here's the callback. Don't touch them. Good work today, everyone. Proud of you all. Fun bingo. Here's another final look at these lavender things. We're doing well, relatively speaking. Godspeed and God bless.